Hey, read through the word. Today is January 12th, and I am laughing as I go on here because I get comments and on my personal Facebook page and messages that people are always, and in person when I meet people, I've met some of you, I've been like out and about, and will come up to me and sorry, are you Lisa Nance? And I'm like, yes. So that's been fun. But everybody always comments on two things. My earrings and my shirts. And so here we go. Just wanted you to see. And it says, hello, winter. I can't remember what it says. Family, cozy fires, cocoa, faith, snowflakes, boots. And I do have snowflake earrings on. You gotta remember I'm a school teacher. And I decorate my home for every holiday. So I decorate myself as well. So let's get going with today's lesson. I am so excited. Like super duper nerdy. And some of you are gonna be like, Lisa, why you do this stuff to us? So, now, I've not hit this with you. I usually, well, hold on. Let's just keep going. And I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, so today's lesson is called Spaces. And we are in Genesis 35, 22. Is that right? Genesis 35, 22. Now, if you notice, it says, here we go. While he was living there, let's go back to when, because it talks about Migdal Eder. Then Jacob traveled on and camped beyond Migdal Eder, which we've discussed before, because it's the Tower of the Flock. And while he was living there, Reuben had intercourse with Bilhah, his father's concubine, which according to custom, that's like his father's wife. And Jacob soon heard about it. And if you notice, there's this big long space. And then it says, these are the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. Now, why is there a big space there? What in the world does that mean? Why didn't they just put that in the other verse? I mean, because, people went back in later and put chapter and verse in to make it easier to refer to verses instead of just saying, find it. So, why is that like that? And why didn't we just take the space out? Why didn't we move that part? What does the space mean? Why is there a space? Well, let's talk about why there's a space. So, here's where we go back to. You're like, Lisa, you don't let us skip anything. Sorry. Yes, I don't. I've told you, like Genesis chapter 5. If you didn't read Genesis chapter 5, come on. Genealogies. Genealogies are very important, or God would not have put them there. I mean, you miss Enoch if you don't read Genesis chapter 5. Numbers. When there are numbers listed, some of y'all will remember in the book of Numbers, we discussed this. All the numbers and what they mean. And if you remember, some of y'all remember us drawing out everything. I think that was last year. It might have been year before last. So you have to read genealogies and you have to read numbers. And I did this just on my app, on my phone. I pulled up all these different translations. The space is in every translation. Yeah. So it's not just like there in the NLT. It's there everywhere. Why is there a space? So now we can't skip genealogies. And we can't skip large numbers and think they don't matter. And now we need to pay attention to the spaces. So, let's go. We continue to follow the account of Jacob and his family. Dysfunction with a capital D. Like, this is, like, it is one story after another of dysfunction, dysfunction, dysfunction. Everybody always thinks that their family did that. The Bible records a dysfunctional family. A series of dysfunctional family. Hello, Cain and Abel. So, there's a lot going on here. And then we see this space. Right after, it tells us Reuben, the firstborn son of a patriarch, slept with his father's wife. Basically, in the ancient world, it would be seen as him sleeping with his father's wife. That's all it records for us right here. It tells us a little bit more information later. But I want us to see, and then it talks about the 12 sons. But God speaks even in the spaces. In the middle of this verse, so I've linked this as a link so you can see this. But in the middle of the verse in Hebrew, off to itself, I think if you click on my link I've sent you and you go over and it's the Hebrew letter Peh. If you click on that, it will show you in the original Hebrew text what a scroll would have looked like. And the letter Peh on its own, it means like mouth, and it's supposed to look like that, like a deep breath. And it's actually used as a punctuation mark. And I'm all about some punctuation because no one uses it correctly. So this means there's a picture. I just couldn't figure out how to put a picture in the lesson. So if you follow that link, you'll pull it up and you'll see it. So the translators just didn't translate a single letter on its own because they knew when reading the Torah scrolls that meant pause. I mean, I almost called this lesson mic drop. Then I called it consequences. Then I ended up with spaces. Because it's this space in ancient scrolls served as punctuation. It's sort of like a pause. In the Psalms, you see the word Selah. And Selah is used as that. You're not supposed to read Selah. And you wouldn't have read the letter Peh. It would have been, let's think a minute. It's very evident if you pull up online any of the Dead Sea Scrolls, you will see this as well. Copies, pictures of Dead Sea Scrolls. You'll see that. So, the purpose of the space, this is for us to make a mental note. I love a good study Bible. My students, and if you have middle school and high school students, even it would go all the way up to college. I recommend all of my students have the ESV Student Study Bible. Because it helps a lot. And the student, a study Bible cross-references things for us. This is God's way of cross-referencing. He's like, hold that thought. I'm not done with this story. There's more. We're just not there yet. Don't you think Reuben's getting away with this? So, just hold on. Because all it says is, and Jacob, I think it says Jacob heard about it here. ESV says, and Israel heard about it. But it is a mental note. Jacob's not ignoring this. There's more coming. And hold on. Because this means a whole lot more than it does. It's like it's in passing. And oh, by the way, Reuben slept with his father's wife. And his daddy found out. And the names of the kids are. So, that space there is actually a translation of a letter. The easiest way I can think is pause or hold or make a mental note or cross-reference. Jacob's not done with this, and neither is God. God wants us to see that for a reason. So, he's not done with the story, because this act will change the future of the family. You know, I'm not going to jump into, because it's coming. Let's see, where are we? This is Genesis 35. So, Genesis, I think it's 39 or 49. Where it will go into a little bit more of the consequences that will be later played out for the entire nation. There's consequences yet to come. I mean, so that space, it's like it goes against what it sounds like. Like Reuben slept with his father's wife and Jacob heard about it, and it feels like it should, but that space means the story's not done yet. There's more to come. So, it's amazing all the things that God speaks through in His Word, even in the spaces. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.